the hate army troll.
It's the hate army,
bro. Hate army.
Shout out to hate.
Good vibes to the
Shout
hate
out to
army.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out
Shout
for
out to
hate.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out for
Shout
hate.
out for hate.
Savvy, do you know who darksydephil is?
Oh shit.
Why am I seeing so much of this? Like, I'm aware of the name and the acronym, but like, is this important? What is this? Like, what have I
It's
missed?
so good.
Okay.
It's so
I've been
good.
in hell, in case you haven't noticed. So whatever
Look up-
emails and weird hentai shit you're sharing with some dark side individual, I don't know, man.
No.
Look
Okay,
up DSP May 1st.
let me just give you a little background. Okay.
I just want to die now.
Okay. Let me just kind of give a little background here. Okay. So a month into our show, we had this guy darksydephil on our show. And he is a guy that, this is not my first rodeo in the world of content creation. Been doing this for a long time. So back in the late aughts, early 2010s, I had a lot of friends, a lot of community members. I had this outlet, I ended up selling it. And darksydephil was a community member on this outlet called Screw Attack, right? And he eventually started doing YouTube videos and such. And long and short was we knew each other as I wouldn't say we were ever friends. I would say that we were acquaintances, right?
Colleagues.
Yeah, colleague in a time where YouTube was not as big as it is now, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't speak to him for like a decade, right? It was one of those things where I think I saw him once and I was like, hey, how's it going? And I think I've met him once in real life. So I didn't talk to him for like a decade. And when Side Scrollers was starting up, I was reaching out to people, that'd be like, hey, you want to come on the show? So I announced that about 2 weeks into the show, I was like, hey, this is who we have coming up on the show this month. And I announced that darksydephil was going to be on the show. Well, as soon as I announced that, it was like a nuclear bomb went off, right? People were like, what the fuck? darksydephil's coming on your show. Holy shit. And I found out that he doesn't go on people's shows, right? And over the past decade, there's been this entire lore that has been built around darksydephil. And there is a lot of things that people wanted to know about DSP. So when the original intention was just to have him on the show like we're doing now and talk about stuff,
So just slow down for 2 seconds.
Yes.
Why does it matter if he never appeared on or appeared with anyone else? As a former Twitch streamer, it's totally normal actually to not do anything with anyone. So why is that a big deal?
I don't know. I think people just had questions about him, and there was a lot of questions, and he never.
So it's like an Asmongold, like somebody to just unpack.
Right. So there was a lot to unpack with him. So while the original intention was to have him on and to just to have a regular show, it became painfully obvious that we needed to have an interview and address some of these things that people wanted to know, because it was going to be like the big elephant in the room, right? The elephant in the room that hey, how come you didn't ask him about this? He never comes out and talks about these things. So we had him on and we spoke for 5 hours. Okay. And as far as peeling back the onion goes, we barely scratched the surface, right? With all the things that are around this lore around this guy. So anyways, that was 18 months ago. And then the next day we did a debrief show where pretty much after that 5 hours was done. You're exhausted after 5 hours. Everyone was like, we're done. So we came back the next day and we talked about it. Apparently Phil got really upset that we talked about it the next day without him being there, right? And then he just got really mad, right? Really, really mad. And I tried to reach out a few times, be like, hey man, I understand you're upset. That's fine. Let's bury the hatchet. If you want to do part 2, I'll come on your show and we can figure it out, right? And there were other things that apparently he was upset about, but as far as money that was super chats and stuff that came in and he didn't make any money, that's all I don't know, right? That's just things that I've heard. So anyways, with all that said, grind with me and Side Scrollers for about 18 months.
You're a bit underwater right now.
Okay, then
I missed that, just that last sentence that you said.
Yeah,
what?
I missed that part. Yeah.
So he's really had an axe to grind with Side Scrollers for the better part of 18 months. Okay. And apparently we're brought up all the time on his streams and stuff. It is what it is. And like I said, I've reached out to him a couple times to see if he wanted to just get through it, because I'm a big fan of just talking through things.
Oh.
And he's either not replied or just not repeat. I don't think he's responded once. So with that said, I received an email yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was. I checked my email yesterday to the Side Scrollers podcast email, and it was from darksydephil. Now,
People still send emails?
Yeah, who does that? Just use Twitter.
it's really funny you mentioned that, because that's one of the criticisms about Phil, is that he uses email instead of how many is that? How many is that?
That's 110,437, and no, that's not spam.
Why don't
That's
you just
between
mark it as read or
emails.
delete? Why would you do that?
Why? Just. I don't like a notification on my phone. Why do you do this?
New high
Why?
score every day.
Okay.
And so that way I can remind the world when people say, like, my favorite is when my dad says, "Hey, I sent you an email," and it'd be like, "Oh yeah, here's my new notification count. Which one is it?" And then he's
That's
just like,
mean, though. Your
That
dad
is
emails you, you
horrifying.
respond.
Don't feel bad for him. He's the reason why I am the way I am. All right. When he taught me how to play tennis, he said always aim for the nuts. All right. So don't feel bad for him.
He's right, though.
He's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
He's
See,
right.
so don't feel bad for him.
I do. Respond to your father.
Well, we talk. It's fine. Anyway,
Okay. All right.
go
Well-
on. Yeah. So you got an email from this individual. It's also a quick side thing. Is darksydephil the same person who gets memed on all the time?
Yes.
Saying, "Oh, he
Yes.
outlived something else or someone
Yes.
else."
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So there's the baseline for everything, right? And for us, it was a show, and it's like a chapter of the life of side scrollers as we continue to grow, right? And so Phil was on another show recently. I don't know a whole lot about it. I hear about, I don't have a whole lot of time to watch other people's content, but he was on another show, and apparently they were pretty nice to him, and that's fine. And he was like, finally, I get a chance to be myself. And this has started like almost a redemption arc for Phil, because he's always been this lolcow, right?
Well,
And,
it's got a very
he was on
important
Kino.
part,
He was on
though.
Kino Casino. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I like I said, I haven't watched much of their show. I've seen like a couple clips here and there, but apparently
You
the show's
forgot
pretty
this
good. I don't
part,
know.
too.
Yes, he then that's the May 1st burst that you were talking about, Alex. Is he's most known for
Yes, sir.
whacking it when he didn't know the camera was on when he was whacking.
Reddit thing is titled
whole
"The
time.
Burst of May 1st."
Yes. Okay, so with all that said, he's on kind of a redemption arc with it's Kino Casino. Is that correct?
Yes. He was. Yeah. Kino.
And like, to be clear, that's awesome. Like, at no point I've ever wanted to bury Phil or make money off his misery or anything like that, right? It was just a show that we did, and it's now become a part of this lore. But after he was on this show, he went out, and I saw this, and I legitimately laughed when I saw this. So this is before the email that I received here. So this is what he said.
So now that I've actually had a fair chance to appear on a show, I'd like to tell Craig and the side scrollers, go fuck yourselves, you disingenuous pieces of human fucking shit. I hope you fucking flush yourselves down a toilet and never climb the fuck out of the sewer that you live in with your drama politics show that no one gives two fucks about. All right? Why don't you go fucking suck on Melody Mac or whatever the fuck the new hot topic is today with your bullshit drama? No one gives a fuck about you and you'll never be relevant. Now fucking choke on it.
Look, listen. Like, remember we talked about last time? Give me a short brunette with winged eyeliner, and I'm there.
Mm-hmm. That's
Put
Melanie
Melanie
Mac.
Mac on that list. I'm gonna twist her into a goddamn pretzel.
Oh Lord. All right. Well, I'll let Melanie know. Thank you, Alex.
I'm married. Don't.
No, I will not let her know. So with that said, Phil has a lot of thoughts about us, and he doesn't like our show. And he's made that very clear in that 39-second clip.
A little bit, yeah.
Brilliant. Which leads us to one day ago. Now, to be clear, I emailed him January 22nd. And in that email,
This year.
okay. Right? And I will read that email verbatim right now because I want to be clear as to the communication that's happening. I said, hey, Phil, I know you're still pissed at us, presumably mostly at Adam. Now, Adam was he was helping during the interview at the time, and Adam served as he lacked
Destroyer.
he did a phenomenal job in the interview in that he listened as an impartial person who didn't know a whole lot about Phil, and he just called his shit out, right? Now Adam had some harsh things to say the next day as far as him being like he thought that I don't even remember what he said, but he was very honest about his thoughts on Phil, right? So anyways, my perception is that he's always been pissed at us, mainly because of the things that Adam said. Okay, so I said, I know you're still pissed at us, presumably mostly at Adam, but I want to be very clear. I never wanted to make money off your misery, and that's a direct quote from him. I cannot reinforce that enough. You may think otherwise, but that's not true. I said, I'm reaching out to you because we're doing a big 12-hour stream on February 15th to celebrate moving into year 2 of the show, which was our birthday. I said, any interest in popping on for a few minutes during that day? No obligation to stay or for any amount of time. Just show up, say hi, chat for a bit, and bounce when you're ready. Adam isn't available that day, so you don't have to worry. So you won't have to deal with him at all. We also certainly don't have to announce anything. This is super casual. And I gave him the times that we're live, and I said, can I send you the link that day? And you can just show up. So that was January 22nd. Okay. August 29th. So yesterday at 4:34 in the morning, he sent me an email in response to that.
7 months later?
Yeah. So 7 months later.
How did he keep the email? Like he knew you said, he read the email, obviously. He's been sitting on it for 7 months and then decided to reply?
Yeah.
Now you guys know why I don't delete mine.
Now, look, I'm not going to read the email because I'm only going to read what I sent to him, right? But what he sent to me is whatever. But the point is that he has asked me to come on his show. And I am considering it, but I will say this. He drives a hard bargain with such kind words like this, right? So I would like actually to ask you guys, based off of what you see and based off of what I've said in chat, this is for you as well. Should I go on the darksydephil podcast and have this one-on-one? Because my thought is that I should, because I have invited him on the show again, and I said that I will appear on his show as well to kind of finish it up. And honestly, like, I wouldn't be doing it for me. I feel like I'd be doing it more for him because this is something that he's clinging onto. Very much so. He's very much held on to this for 18 months, and he very clearly has a lot in his chest. And if he wants to yell at me for an hour, that's fine. I'm totally okay with that.
Is his only channel DSP Gaming?
Yes.
Okay, so that's his only YouTube channel.
And
I think so.
Another one like DSP Throwback as well, or something like that.
I don't know.
Okay. The reason why I ask is because I think it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Judging from his viewership and the steady decline of it, I would assume he is attempting to generate relevancy. And he knows lolcow, drama, and yelling does very well because it would appear like he's taken a play out of Keemstar's book or something. Because I guess he appeared
was on the show
that.
a couple of days ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's appeared on that, and his live stream where DSPX Keem go live, 28,000 views. His previous one was 7,000 views. The one before that, 8, 7, 12, 8, 9, 16, 11, 22. But 22 was talking about drama.
Right.
I don't know anything about this individual. All I know is that now all of a sudden he's trying to invite people because Kirsha made a tweet saying that I've been tagged a lot because he's willing to have VTubers on.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing this because I think he genuinely cares. He's doing this because he needs relevancy. He needs views. 700 views on a video is not that it looks like these are edits, even if they're just clips. That's not paying any bills. And it doesn't appear like he has any other source of revenue.
Yeah. Well, I think that what he's trying to do is he's trying to pivot, right? He's been doing the same thing literally for 15 years, right? Right. Pivot. I think that's what he's trying to do with this content. Alex, what are your thoughts on this? Because you're more familiar with DSP than Sav, obviously.
I feel like he finally grew a pair of balls after being on Kino Casino is what happened. I think what happened is he was on Kino Casino.
Mhm.
They propped him up. You know, he finally has a viewer base that's there, that like hit all his like tips, goals, and shit like that he has every day. He finally got himself a pair of balls, and now he's like, well, now it's time to get after him. I know that like there was a thing with Duty Streams, like this other guy who was clipping his content, and I feel like Duty was definitely pushing the limits of fair use quite a bit, honestly, as a content creator. I know that Duty Streams got demonetized because of that, but that's what it feels like. I feel like if Phil does not navigate this correctly, this could all blow up in his face.
You obviously know more about and I want to be clear, like it was an episode that we did. It was a thing that we did, and we kind of, it was a thing for, I don't know, Blab, some 3 weeks, a month that we heard about pretty consistently. And then it just kind of trickled out to just a thing. Like I said, as a chapter of the life of side scrollers, right? We've done how many shows? Almost 400 shows here. And it was a show. Well, I guess technically like 2 shows that we've done, because we did the recap afterwards of the decompression stream afterwards. So, it was a small part of our history, but more than anything, I feel like I should do it mainly because I have invited him on the show again.
Yeah,
and I've said that I'd appear on his stuff just to close it out. But like I said, not for me, mainly just because it's very obvious that he has hurt feelings towards this. So
I'm someone who believes in second chances for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And so if Phil's on a redemption arc, let him get a redemption arc. It's been 15 fucking years, right? Like, it's not a big deal. It's all about what he does with that redemption arc now is the real question, right? So you being on a show is not going to negatively impact you whatsoever, right? And it's not going to, like, your viewers aren't going to stop watching you because you went on a show.
Yeah.
You're not going to like have like my community is very different from your community, but my community didn't just be like, oh, you want to side scroll? You're not going to watch it. Like, they're not going to do that, right? They're going to come in and be like, foot. Like, they're fucking psychos. But like, it's collabing is never a bad thing, right? Maybe some of your viewers like DSP later on because of it, or maybe some of his viewers like you because of it. Like, it's not going to, unless you guys get into a screaming match about dumb bullshit and you.
Well, that would make so much money, though.
Drop a couple slurs, like, you're gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, and
okay.
that's not gonna happen for me.
That would
right?
make a ton of money. That would make a ton of money, though.
Right. People saying read the email. No, I'm not gonna read a private email. Right. I'm not gonna read
Listen, no DM is private. No DM is private. I'm sorry.
Right. But an email.
Whatever you DM somebody, whatever you DM somebody, it better be whatever you're okay with showing other people.
I'll say this. If I go on the show. If I go on his show and we talk it out, which like I said, I'm cool with. I'm a grown-ass adult. I'm all about conversation. I want to make sure that our email correspondence is shared, though, right? Because the emails that we've had back and forth, I have no idea how he could read them as, it's got to be one of those things where tone is lost in text, where you read them a certain way and you're looking at it, you're like, you can't believe you said that, right? So anyways, well, I will email DSP back, and it's like I see this from Winterfell. It says go on to DSP. You don't owe it to him. You owe it to this channel. Round 2, he was civil with Keem. I suspect he'll be civil with you.
Do he and Keem have a negative relationship before this?
So they did.
Yes.
Okay.
They did, and apparently I have not watched the stream. I saw maybe 5 minutes of it. I haven't watched the whole thing in its entirety, but. Apparently he was cordial to him, which, as I would expect, I would think he should be. So yeah, there we go. It's like, corner me for what? Like, that's the thing I don't understand. Like, I have nothing to hide. I don't understand, but
yeah,
anyway.
It just kind of comes down to how you want to spend your time.
Yeah.
And so like, I mean, at the end of the day, you can then go on here and talk about the conversation the following day. So it doesn't really matter, and it gives you something else to talk about.
But will he be upset? And that's the thing, right? Like, well, that's why he's pissed at us now, because we talked about things the next day and he wasn't there. If he's
upset with you afterwards, just be honest and tell him what you're going to say anyway, so it doesn't give a shit.
Mhm.
And anyways, like in my opinion, right, if somebody's mad about what you say, fuck them, because are you really going to see them in real life ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do they really matter to you? Are you going to punch your pillow while you cry every night before you go to bed? No. So fuck off. Like, just say whatever you want.
All right. Well, I'll give it a little bit here, and I'll think maybe we'll do like an hour or something like that. And but I'll email him back. Like I said, I have nothing to hide. I'm not scared of anything, and I'm fine with all my actions. So with that said,
Yeah.
we do have some support here from Hill Dragon. Says Kino Casino and Keemstar have been sucking up to him, which has inflated his ego. He's become insufferable to watch. Don't know. I don't watch his stuff. Joey says DSP is the typical locale of the internet. He's willing to do anything to create controversy in order to gain relevancy. I can only think of 2 other examples of content creators who also do this. Zach says, Craig, go on DSP's show dressed as Adam. It would destroy him.
I'm telling
Dean,
you, get a shirt with his cum face on it, where he's like nutting. He's like, oh,
no.
you just wear it.
That would
He's like,
probably
"Ah,
not
just give me a hard time.
probably not go very well, right? Dean says, yeah, Phil is trying to grab onto people desperately because Keem was glazing him on his podcast. He's trying to do Maximilian Dude too. We'll see how that is. So yeah, this is it's interesting to say the least. So all right, well look, we got a lot of super chats, a lot of direct donations, and a lot of people buying merchandise, including the brand new, yes, troll worthy Make Gaming Great Again hat available right now.
TLR says, if you talk about DSP with him being there, is not going to be fair because he can't defend himself, but he will talk about you all day. Raffle says, Phil will try to talk down to you like an angry dad at a child. He tried this with the owners of Kiwi Farms and was totally shut down and put in his place. You have nothing to worry about.
Thanks,
Danny
Ralph
says,
Tucker.
go on DSP, but bring a bag of grass in case he tries some BS. His species is allergic to touching it. Dragon says, DSP's grievance is justified from his view. Go talk to the king. Build bridges over swamps. Nathan says, that interview you did with DSP is legendary in the detractor community, much to his annoyance. DSP has also the fragilest ego I've ever seen in human. Vork says, Craig, I'd love to see Max on this as you both talk about Street Fighter Collection announce.
Yeah, I would love to have Max on as well.
Stillborn says, DSP is like Cyrex and King Cobra JFS, panic mode clinging to little relevance and pity bucks. Dean says, someone has threatened to sue Phil and he was trying to deflect it in a video the other day, saying everyone will support him if they go through it. The lawyers will bring all this dirty laundry out.
You know, the thing about it is I mean this, and I said this on other shows, I don't care. Like, I don't watch Phil. I don't know a whole lot about him, right? I just know what I researched back in the day, and that's it. So, and the interactions that we've had back and forth. Outside of that, I don't know anything else about his lore. I have not followed it over the last year. I really don't know, and honestly, I don't really care.
And Demi says, Furry 2 is a better corn on the hat or rhyme. Thanks, Demi. We're caught up on the tubes.
All right, I have put in my calendar. Thursday, I will be on Phil's show. So there we go. I think that's right. I think that's what's going to happen is Thursday. I'll be on the show for 90 minutes. So we'll see how it goes. I've emailed him back. I said, let's do Thursday. So there we are. Handsome Tom came in and says, Craig, you're one of the most disingenuous piece of shit online. You kickstarted side scrollers by pressing DSP, then proceeded to softball everyone else, ignoring the detractors, notably Nick Rekieta, the swinging child neglecting cokehead who you filleted. Well, thank you, Handsome Tom. Appreciate that. Balding Craig came in, says at one point, side scrollers needed viewership and needed DSP for views. Now that you're bigger, you're too good for a one-on-one interview, which you promised before the gang jumping him. Rules for me, not for thee. Well, Balding Craig, I just said that we're doing it live on Thursday. So there we go. Appreciate your support and your money. Regardless of how retarded I think DSP is, he was a G1 and probably looked up to you and thought fondly of you. You brought on It's a Gundam, who's been feuding with him, and that left a big, bitter impression. Okay. Well, actually, we didn't bring It's a Gundam on. We just had a sound clip from him. That's it. Tooney says, before you decide to go on DSP's show, reply back with including his FU side scrollers video and ask him if he stands by that. Sounds like he's trying to stop the bleeding viewership. Well, you know, like I said, people say things and it is what it is, but I honestly don't really care. You know, it is what it is. So.
Typically helps me more than anything.